Welcome, it's denome. So EU, they just released 168 pages of proposals to regulate crypto inside the EU. And it was quite interesting. They touched a lot about the stablecoins. They just touched about the regulation in the companies and exchanges and crypto asset service providers like Celsius Network and Crypto.com. So it's a little bit bearish, it's a little bit bullish. I will cover both sides in this video, and I will cover the whole proposal as well. And I think they voted on 30th of September, but the good news is that even if it gets passed, there's still 18 months before it actually takes into effect. So I will take a look at everything in this video, so keep watching if you're interested to know what the actual legislation is all about. So Crypto Whale, he's a Twitter personality, and he actually released this information, and here is the link. I will also link this in the description of this video as well. So he posted this, and he also shared his ideas here. So he said that 99.99% of the coins in the market directly violate all of these regulations inside the EU. And I strongly personally disagree with this statement. I'm not sure if he read it very carefully, but after reading the whole thing, I don't think that's nearly the case. But he says that the crypto regulations are bearish in the short term, and they will limit the amount of scam coins, Ponzi schemes, and scam exchanges on the market. And in the long run, this is bullish because these regulations, they allow pension funds, investment funds, as well as other companies to know what is exactly the framework for the regulations inside the EU, so it's easier for them to comply in the future. But it's bearish and it is bullish. But we'll see about that, but I'm not nearly as bearish as Crypto Whale. So I just wanted to show this side of the argument as well. And one thing you have to know about Crypto Whale is that he's big on XRP, and he's been promoting XRP before, and he says that XRP is pretty much the only company that follows these regulations in previous posts as well. So keep that in mind whenever you follow people on Twitter or even me, that you have to do your own research as well, because sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes another person is wrong, or they give too much emphasis on something which is not actually that important. So definitely keep an eye out on that. But now let's just jump right into the actual proposal. So this is the proposal, and as you can see here, it has 168 pages. So let's just go to the most important things. So I highlighted the most important things in my opinion, but of course I may have overlooked some of the things here. So keep that in mind as well. So the first objective is to have legal certainty around crypto. So what it means is that everything is certain and people know how EU will behave in different situations. So that's the first goal. The second goal, second objective is to support innovation. So that's pretty good inside the EU. So they want to support small companies. The third objective is to instill appropriate level of consumer and investor protection and market integrity. So that's pretty good. And then the fourth objective is to ensure financial stability. So EU, they want to have the ultimate control at the end of the day. So that's their fourth objective. This probably is their number one objective, but in this paper they push it as number fourth. But anyway, let's just actually jump into the actual topics here. So the action at the EU level, such as this proposal for regulation, would be to create an environment which a large cross-border market for crypto assets and crypto asset service providers could develop, thereby reaping the full benefits of the internal markets. An EU framework would significantly reduce the complexity as well as the financial and administrative burdens for all stakeholders, such as service providers, issuers, and consumers and investors. So this sounds all good, right? But there's some things here in the fine print which are not as good. So the Commission has relied on qualitative and quantitative evidence collected from recognized resources, including two reports from the EBA and ESMA. And if you don't know what these are, EBA is the European Banking Authority, and ESMA, let me see if I have it somewhere. What was the ESMA? Because I already forget about what it was. I think it was this one. That was the European Banking Authority, but this one was the ESMA, European Securities and Markets Authority. So there you go. So those two centralized assets gave all the ideas here. So whenever you may take a look at further, you know exactly what their goal here was. So regarding stablecoins, they had three options here. And just to spoil it out, they prefer the option 1 together with the option 2. So the option 3 here would be to restrict the issuance of stablecoins. So they basically scrapped that. So option 1, what is it? It's to that the stablecoin issuers have to disclose requirements as well as the reserve backing of any stablecoins. So what it means is that they have to be 100% compliant to whatever the authorities tell to them. Then option 2, together with option 1, stablecoins whose value is backed by one single currency that is legal tender are close to the definition of e-money, so they have to follow the e-money legislation around that as well. So those two together will happen in the future. So this is basically, whenever we go forward, is what they want to do here. But small and medium-sized enterprises are pretty much exempted from all the regulation here when they have less than 1 million euro in their crypto assets for a period less than 12 months. So that's pretty cool. This is pretty much the area where they want to enhance innovation, is that small and medium-sized enterprises are pretty much exempt from most of the regulation here. Then one thing you have to know in the future is that they have three definitions here. One is asset reference token, which is another word for stablecoin, and they have the e-money token, which is another word for stablecoin. And the third is a utility token. So a utility token would be something like a CRO or Cell token or SXP, or even probably Bitcoin is a utility token. What it means is that company tokens that offer a service, and the service provider, you can use that coin to purchase services from that service provider. That's basically what it means. But they don't have a fourth category for like general purpose tokens like Ethereum or Bitcoin or something like that. So that's interesting that they don't even touch those topics in this paper. So that's good. Bitcoin and Ethereum are exempted from this paper as well. But now let's get to the actual what are these regulations. So every time you see a number here, it's basically another regulation. So the number 3 here, there are no rules currently for services related to crypto assets, including for the operation or trading platforms for crypto assets, exchanging crypto assets against fiat currency or against another cryptocurrency, and the custody of crypto assets. And the lack of such rules leaves holders of crypto assets exposed to risks, in particular in areas not covered by the consumer protection rules. So that's why they want to implement all of these rules here. And they have a lot of rules here which are not that important. They are mostly about the consumer protection, as well as like how you hold your reserves and to avoid double spending and all kinds of things, which to my understanding were not as important. And I may have overlooked something, so let me know in the comments down below if I overlooked something. I will definitely add it in the pinned comment if ever I find something new here. But yeah, prospective purchases of crypto assets should be informed about the characteristics, functions, and risks of crypto assets they intend to purchase. So this is what they want to protect the consumers here. Small and medium-sized enterprises and startups should not be subject to excessive administrative burden. So that's pretty good. Utility tokens for a service that is not yet in operation. The duration of public offering, as described in the assets white paper, shall not exceed 12 months. All of these are pretty good regulations, in my opinion, inside the EU, but it starts to get a little bit worse once we get further. In order to enable supervision, the crypto assets have to notify in the white paper and their marketing communication to the competent authority of the EU where their registered office or branch is located. So anonymous companies are pretty much illegal inside EU as far as I know. So if you're an anonymous coin provider, that's pretty much illegal in the future. So that's the first thing. Then asset reference tokens, these are again stablecoins. The issuer of stablecoins should therefore be subject to more stringent requirements than issuer of other crypto assets. And the stablecoins should have a registered office inside the EU. Stablecoins inside the EU are seeking admission. Such crypto to trading platform should be possible only where the competent authority has authorized the issuer of such crypto assets and approved the crypto asset white paper regarding such crypto asset. What this basically means is that if you are an exchange or a crypto service provider inside the EU, you can only use stablecoins that are approved by the EU. So there you go. So if you have a stablecoin like maybe DAI or another decentralized coin which is pegged to the price of USD, centralized services cannot use those coins. So there you go for that. Then issuers of stablecoins should have robust governance arrangements, including clear organizational structure, well-defined, transparent, and consistent lines of responsibility, and effective procedures to identify, manage, monitor, and report the risks to which they are or might be exposed. So what this basically means is that the stablecoin issuers have to have 100% transparency to the EU as well, to anti-money laundering and terrorism and all these things. So what it basically means is that if you are not 100% or 110% compliant with the EU laws, then you are not able to be inside the exchanges inside EU. So there you go. Then issuer of e-money token, another stablecoin, should be authorized either as a credit institution or electronic money institution. So that's basically that they have to comply to all the rules. Yeah. Issuers of stablecoins and any crypto asset service provider, and this is a huge one, should not grant interest to holders of those tokens for the time that they are holding those tokens. So what this basically means is that if you have a stablecoin and you are a centralized service, you cannot provide interest on that coin anymore. So that's pretty bad for Celsius, that's pretty bad for crypto.com, BlockFi, uHolder was one, I think, and any other centralized service that is working inside the EU, they can no longer give any interest for stablecoins, but they can still give interest in their own coin, they can still give interest to Bitcoin and Ethereum, but no longer can they give in stablecoin. So this is actually pretty bearish for CRO and Cell token and any other token that gives interest in stablecoin. So just keep that in mind. And if you're a DeFi platform and you give interest in stablecoins, you can do that, but it's pretty much illegal to the EU law. But in this paper, I did not find that if you're an individual and you earn interest in stablecoin, that would be illegal. I did not find any information on that. So only the service providers have to follow this rule. So if you are getting interest on DeFi, then you are pretty much safe in as far as I know. So crypto asset service providers should only be provided by legal entities that have a registered office inside the EU and have been authorized as a crypto asset service provider by the competent authority of EU. And the regulation should not be okay. This means basically that if you are a person living inside the EU, you can still use a service outside EU at your own initiative. This is what it basically means. So you can still use other services even though they are not regulated inside the EU if you want to. So that's pretty good still. And here is if you're a crypto asset service provider where your business model requires you to hold funds like banknotes, coins, scriptural money, or electronic money belonging to your clients, those crypto asset service providers should place such funds within a credit institution or a central bank. So again, if you're crypto.com or if you are Celsius network or if you're BlockFi, your money should be inside a credit institution or a central bank. So this is pretty bad again for Celsius network because their motto is unbank yourself, but this regulation basically tells them that you have to be a credit institution or use a third-party service, which is a credit institution. So they can basically close your account or do whatever they want with your account if they want to cancel you. Crypto asset service providers should be authorized to make payment transactions in connection with the crypto asset services that they offer only where they are authorized as payment institutions. So what this means is that the centralized services cannot use DeFi platforms inside the EU. So maybe they can still outsource it to third-party companies, and those third-party companies outside EU can use DeFi services. I'm not exactly sure if that's possible, but the companies themselves cannot do DeFi as far as I understand from this statement right here. And again, significant, and here's a distinction. So significant asset reference tokens, what this means is that stable coins that are significant, so there are stable coins and then there are significant stable coins. So this would be like a USDT or USDC, for example. So USDT can be used as a means of exchange still to make large volumes of payment transactions on a cross-border basis. So no problem there. But to avoid supervisory arbitrage across member states, it is appropriate to assign the European Banking Authority the task of supervising the issuers of significant stablecoins once such stablecoins have been classified as significant. So what it means that the EBA has the authority to carry out on-site inspections, take supervisory measures, and impose fines on those stablecoin providers that do not follow the regulations. And even if you follow the regulations, they can still provide on-site inspections on those companies. So that's pretty significant. So what they mean, what they want is that the European Central Bank has the ultimate say on every transaction. They have the full supervision of all the transactions. But if you use a stablecoin in the DeFi system, which is not inside the EU centralized exchanges, you can still do that, and pretty much probably you're okay as well. But anyway, the fee should not be proper. They have the fees, and here these are the last ones. So crypto assets that have been issued before the entry of this regulation will be exempted from the obligation to publish white papers and other applicable requirements. So if you're a small crypto company inside the EU, you are exempted from everything that is in this paper pretty much. But if you are a stablecoin provider or you're a crypto asset service provider, then you should follow this regulation already. So if you are like Unibright, you're based in Germany, you can do whatever you were doing before already. But if you are like actual service provider, then you have to follow the regulations like exchanges and like Celsius Network or Crypto.com. Again, this regulation should therefore ensure that adequate arrangements are in place to enable whistleblowers to alert competent authorities of infringements. So they want to incentivize whistleblowers to actually call out crypto projects inside the EU if there are any infringements. So if you are a crypto company in the DeFi space and you don't have, if you're not fully transparent and you're anonymous, then you are probably going against this regulation, and that's probably illegal as well. So you can do that in the DeFi space as anonymous person, but whistleblowers are incentivized to call you out and let you know who you are actually. So there you go for that as well. But here's the saving grace. The application of this regulation should be deferred by 18 months when this actually takes place. So I think they are voting on 30th of September on this paper. And if it gets passed like this, then there's still 18 months that the crypto companies can do whatever they want, and they can have things in place to find loopholes of this legislation and to also find ways to comply with this legislation or regulation for 18 months. but with between now and 18 months, everything still stays the same. And most of this thing is just for service providers that provide interest on stablecoins as well as on stablecoins. But every other crypto project out there pretty much still goes under the radar as far as I know. But the exchanges, they probably have to have much more, like when Sushi was put on Binance, for example, I don't think they can do things like that as easily in the future, because it was like 2-day-old project without a good white paper. So all of those, whenever they go to centralized service exchanges, I think they have to be more careful what they allow inside those, if they are regulated inside the EU, I mean. So there you go, that's pretty much everything that was important in this paper. You can take a look at this paper if you want to on your own time and read through it. I'm now about halfway done, but I didn't read whatever was below here. It didn't seem that important. It was basically just giving examples of different situations where those 73 rules were taken into practice. So there you go for that. Anyway, those are the things. Now you may have some questions. What about Bitcoin and Ethereum? I didn't see anything they were talking about that, so they are still the same as before. What about Cell token? What about CRO token? They can still do whatever they want. I think they are labeled as utility tokens. And if you search utility tokens in this paper, there's not almost anything they say about utility tokens. So you can still give interest in utility tokens as well, as far as I know. And then what about, can you earn interest in stable coins? Not on centralized services, but you can earn interest on Bitcoin, as far as I understand. You can earn interest in Cell token, you can earn interest in CRO, those, no problem there. What about DeFi? Well, you can still earn interest on DeFi with stablecoins, and you can earn interest outside EU with stablecoins, as far as I understand as well. So those will not be affected. But if you are a DeFi platform, but your team is actually inside EU, and you get exposed that you are actually inside EU, then there will be probably criminal charges against you as well, and they want to crack down the whole team as well. So keep that in mind if you are in DeFi. But if you are just somebody who uses DeFi, this legislation is basically giving you a free pass. So if you're just DeFi degen who wants to get the maximum yield on your coins, you can still do that pretty safely, in my opinion, inside EU as well. So I think that's pretty much it. Okay, one more thing. Is this bearish or is this bullish? In the long run, it's bullish. In the short run, it's pretty much whatever the market wants to decide. I myself, I sold about 1/4 of my Cell tokens, just in case if this is bearish for Cell token, because they cannot offer interest in stable coins after this, or if this gets passed 18 months after that. So I sold a little bit. I might buy it back, we'll see, but I sold 1/4 of my Cell tokens. I still have 3/4 of my Cell tokens left, so that's about 10% of my portfolio as well, if you want to know that. So I still believe they will survive no matter what, and they will probably find a way to comply with all these rules anyway. And this is still just a proposal, so we don't know if stablecoin interest will actually be completely disabled or not. So keep that in mind as well. So in my mind, it's a little bit on the neutral. Will this bring Bitcoin back to 3,500 USD level? I highly doubt that. Will this have a significant impact? I highly doubt that. But you never know if there will be massive headlines saying like, this is ultra bearish, this is the apocalypse of crypto. Like Crypto Whale, he was saying like 99.99% of crypto projects don't follow this regulation. But from what I understood, that's not the case at all, in my opinion. It's just a few service providers as well as a few stablecoins that may have some problems here. And yeah. But what does it mean for trading? because if you are trading with centralized services, they have to be fully compliant if they are working inside the EU. So all the trades will probably be distributed to or given out to EU if ever they ask for it. So keep that in mind if you are working with centralized services. But on DeFi, you can pretty much do whatever you were doing until this point. Maybe there will be even more anonymous companies because the companies inside the EU may not want to let them know who they are if they want to provide services in stablecoins. But I don't think this is actually ultra bearish in my opinion, because it's just legislation and there are always loopholes that lawyers can find, and there are always ways to comply with this and still provide a service in the future as well. So that's it for this paper. That's what I was able to find out. If you can find out something else outside the scope of this video, let me know in the comments and I will put it in the pinned comments as well as consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and I will see you on the next video.